So today we are back with some Destiny 2 content. As you may know, since you clicked on it, we are talking about the Prosecutor auto rifle from the Rite of the Nine version of Prophecy. This 450 has something worth talking about, even though this may not be meta at the moment. Again, I won't claim it's the ultimate chase because, like I said, it's a 450, but there is something here in the perk pool and with the future sandbox that gives it a ton of potential, which I do think is worth chasing and sowing a few. Now, before we jump into what I want to say on that, just want to say we have a solid amount of Destiny 2 content lined up, so if you want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I drop my next video. With that out of the way, let's jump back in and talk about the Prosecutor auto rifle. So, it's no secret on the channel, I love legendary autos in PvE, but honestly, we have a big problem with them. For some time, if it's not a 720, it's just not really worth it. Now, 600s you can get by, but anything besides a 720, you just don't really want to use. Now, of course, this really just depends on the content you are playing. So for most things, you can get away with a 450, but when things start ramping up and becoming more challenging, 450s just don't have it. And I do think that Bungie needs to do something to change things up because, as you'll be seeing shortly with the perk pool, they should be so much better with something like this as an option. So if they ever do make that leap, I do think with the perks we have for the God Rolls, it should be in a position to be very powerful. Now, of course, like I said, depending on the content, this is an incredible weapon. Again, it just really depends on what you are playing when you load into Destiny. So to understand what I'm saying here, let's put up all the perks on screen to get a better understanding of how much this auto rifle could cook if they let 450s see the light of day. So we are labeling the perk pool so you can follow, and of course reading this from right to left. Now, since this is a Rite of the Nine weapon, they have two origin traits. One of them is going to be tied to the dungeon itself. So in the case of the Prosecutor, we have the brand new crossing over origin trait. Not brand new, it's fairly new. It's from Prophecy when they did the little respin, I believe, with Season of the Wish. And then we have Gravity Well. Crossing over is a very simple mindless origin trait. This weapon has increased range and handling from the top half of the magazine, and while rounds from the bottom half of the mag deal increased damage. So this is a really simple basic origin trait that's really good. And then Gravity Well, I don't really like it too much, so I won't really talk about that. So next to that in column 4, we have Rolling Storm, Onslaught, Paracausal Affinity, Tap the Trigger, Target Lock, and Bolt Shot. Next to that in column 3, we have Eddy Current, Dragonfly, Subsistence, Keep Away, Attrition Orbs, and Zen Moment. And in magazines, we have Extended Mag, Alloy Magazine, Appended Mag, Armored Piercing Rounds, High Caliber Rounds, Ricochet Rounds, Flared Magwell, and Light Mag. Honestly, this is a very solid perk pool for any auto rifle, and it has a lot of combinations you will really want. It's just, like I said before, the fact that it's a 450, it's not truly meta, and it does hinder it, but again, we have some God Rolls I do want to talk about. So firstly, this one here on screen is going to be Arrowhead Break, Ricochet Rounds, Attrition Orbs, and Rolling Storm. Arrowhead Break adds plus 30 recoil control and plus 10 handling, and Ricochet Rounds adds plus 5 range and plus 10 stability. I do think for this one, two very important ways to kind of maximize the stats. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. Attrition Orbs and Rolling Storm is going to be the main combo you want here. So first, with this one, I really want to mention my change of stance with Attrition Orbs. Maybe I was the odd one out for some time, but I just didn't really find much desire here, with other perks in these columns usually just feeling better, in my opinion. Support frames were the exception a little bit, but yeah, the changes to stats in the Edge of Fate expansion that's coming up, this perk can be massive for builds focusing on that super stat. So if you don't know, the super stat will now affect how much you regen per orb of power, meaning if you want to see the most benefits from picking up orbs, you'll need to be at a minimum of 100 with your super stat. After that, anything over 100 will provide increased super damage. So that's why I am now a fan of this, and will have tons of value in builds that are focusing in on getting your super back as soon as possible, and in certain cases maximizing and getting more damage output with your super. Now, of course, things can change, and it is a fairly new sandbox we'll be entering in, but yeah, I really like the idea of this perk next season or next expansion with the brand new sandbox and armor 3.0 changes. So with Attrition Orbs, scoring multiple hits against enemies within 5 seconds spawns an Orb of Power. Now, the Orb of Power regen as of right now is 0.8% super energy. Of course, this is going to vary on that super stat in the Edge of Fate. It's important to mention, that it does not require direct hits, and the hit counter persists through stowed. So on any auto rifle, I'm a big fan of this perk now. Now the exception, like I said, support frames do get a little bit of an extra juice here. But when you pair this attrition orbs perk with something like Rolling Storm, well, there is tons of reasons to get giddy about this combo, and I generally love Rolling Storm a ton. It's probably my favorite arc-based perk. And also, it's incredible for melee regeneration, which is something I feel like people forget with Rolling Storm and Bolt Charge. So with Rolling Storm itself, Final Blows grant Bolt Charge, and while amplified, Final Blows grant additional Bolt Charge. This is pretty simple. You get 1 stack per kill when you're not amplified, and you get 2 stacks per kill when you are amplified. Again, it's important to mention, one thing people forget with Bolt Charge is that you get melee energy per stack attained, and specifically 2.5% per stack and up to 25% over the course of 10 stacks needed to discharge a Bolt Charge. So if you want some melee regen, and for melee based builds, we have another banger. This is why I love this combo of attrition orbs and Rolling Storm for this weapon in the Edge of Fate. We'll see how things go on how much we can crack, but I am really giddy about this combo, and if they just give it a little bit of buffs, we'll talk about that near the end, this can become the king auto rifle. Of course, the new one is arc as well, and we'll see how things go on that one, but I'm really liking what we have right here. So if you're looking for maybe another God roll, something more damage based and not centered around regen, this roll is another solid chase. Like the first roll, the barrel and the mag stay the same, but in column 3 we have Dragonfly, and in column 4 we have Paracausal Affinity. Dragonfly doesn't need much explaining. Precisions create Big Boom, and that Big Boom is matching your weapon's elemental type. So in the case here, you're going to be getting an Arc Big Boom. Now for Paracausal Affinity, this is one of my favorite DPS perks for primaries. Scoring a kill from any source matching the elemental alignment of the weapon grants 20% increased damage for 6 seconds, and it's important to mention that this buff can be activated while stowed. For the alignments, we have it here on screen so you can follow. This is just a very easy proc, easy to maintain damage perk, and it's the reason I love it so damn much. But yeah, these are the 2 God rolls I recommend the most for PvE if you are like me waiting for 450s to become the king of autos. It's very close. In not so difficult content, I do think that these rolls will be incredible. Just again, I want to reiterate, I am not telling you to bring this in a GM. Please do not do that and then yell at me. But besides that, that's pretty much all I gotta say on this one. I truly hope Bungie looks at this frame and gives it some juice, because a perk pool like this is just too good to go to waste. Now, maybe I won't say it needs a damage buff, but if we decided for those higher impact frames to just give it way better range than other autos, maybe something in line with a scout rifle, may sound crazy, the value of these things could just change drastically and make it a much better option in all forms of content. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say on this one. Also, I just want to mention this real quick. We are partnered with Advanced GG, the only clinically studied supplement to improve gaming performance. Now, that doesn't guarantee to improve your RNG in Destiny, but as an insanely busy person, this product has done wonders to help me stay locked in on whatever I need to do, whether that be long hours of gathering content for Destiny or frankly editing and planning content for the channel. Their product works. They have a wide range of flavors and products, from energy to hydration to sleep, and my personal favorite, their focus supplement. And since we are partnered, we have a code for you to use at checkout to save yourself some money. Just put code ShadowNinja once you gathered your desired choices, and bam, save yourself some money and you help me out directly. More details and a direct link is posted in the description and in the pinned comment. But like I said before, that's going to be the video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop this video a like, helps out the video a ton. And for more content from me, hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified on when I drop my next video. Thank you for watching. As always, until next time, ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.